We've got two quarterbacks, we've got a set of stats, and nothing else. I'm going to give you some information here to try and help you decide who are you going to draft in 2019 with a blind comparison. Hey, what's going on, Headliner Nation? Kyle Richardson coming at you right now with an awesome blind comparison, helping you decide who you're going to choose at quarterback for the 2019 season. And thanks so much for checking out this episode of the Fantasy Headliners. Do me a favor before we start moving forward. Make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you hit that share button. Most importantly, hit that subscribe button. If you're not a part of Headliner Nation already, hit that subscribe button. Let us know in the comments so we can personally welcome you to the Fantasy Headliners. Again, we're going to be talking a little bit of blind comparison today. Now, I did a video last week. So I did a video last week. If you haven't checked it out yet, it's Keep Trade Cut. This is also something that I like to do on Twitter quite often with blind comparison. However, this year, not doing it over there nearly as much because I want to do videos about it. So both Jake and I are going to be putting together some videos, some blind comparisons to kind of just reveal what true value might lie out there. Because when you see the numbers and they're not attached to a name, sometimes it's a little bit easier to make a decision, or maybe it's making your decision harder, but you're more informed. So we're going to jump into this and we're going to talk about this a little bit tonight. Number one, if you haven't done so yet, if you're looking for a draft guide for the 2019 season, the Fantasy Headliners have you covered. Ours is available for pre-order right now. It will be open to the public at the end of June, but only $19.99 is going to get you one of the most in-depth, most bang-for-your-buck draft guides in the industry today. We've got a lot of great things coming. We're going to be doing some videos probably in early July with some of that information as well to give you a little bit of a sneak peek. Not going to give it all away, just a little bit so you know what you're going to be getting. But I highly recommend, I've been doing this for a while now and I have not seen a draft guide better than this, a better bang for your buck. So make sure you go over and you pre-order yours today. So let's get into this now. Let's talk about these quarterbacks. And I've got a couple of different quarterbacks here, and I'm basing these stats off of the last 3 years. So as of the last 3 years, the last 3 seasons, these are some of the stats for these quarterbacks. So I'm going to break down these stats for you. I'm going to reveal the quarterbacks. Do a favor for me, though. Try not to reveal too much information in the comments right away because I want people to be able to watch the video and see who's coming. But at the end of the video, too, go ahead and comment below and say, who would you rather take? Would you rather take quarterback 1 or quarterback 2? Again, try to keep the names out of there as much as possible just because I want people to see the video before they see the comments. However, it doesn't matter. Either way, comment below after we're done and let us know who you would be taking. So here we are, quarterback 1, quarterback 2. Over the last 3 seasons, quarterback 1 has a completion percentage of 66.1 compared to quarterbacks 2, 60.2 completion percentage. So a decent difference there, a decent difference. Quarterback 1 also has completed more passes and attempted more passes as well. So 226 yards per game, and I average this out. Any of the per game statistics are averaged over their average games per play because quarterback 1 over the last 3 seasons has averaged 16 games per season, while quarterback 2 has averaged 15 games per season. So over that time frame, 226 yards per game passing for both of them. Right on the dot, right? So far, so good. 1.39 TDs per game through the air compared to 1.44 TDs per game through the air for quarterback 2. And quarterback 1, 0.5 interceptions per game compared to 0.95 interceptions per game for quarterback 2. So out of those stats right there, quarterback 1 is just a tad bit, just a little bit behind quarterback 2 for touchdowns per game. However, he's significantly better in interceptions per game and significantly better in completion percentage per game. So if you're in a league that is going to discredit you or take away points for interceptions, a lot of leagues are going to be like negative 2 points for interceptions. Nice one there. If you're in a league that does give you any sort of points for completed passes as well, number 1's going to be a little bit more efficient for you. Now let's talk about the ground game a little bit because both of these quarterbacks have been known to run from time to time. So quarterback 1 over the last 3 years has averaged 4.99 yards per carry to quarterback 2, who has 4.85 yards per carry. Quarterback 1 is also averaging 6 touchdowns on the ground per season compared to quarterback 2, who's only averaging 5 touchdowns on the ground per season. Again, rushing. So the first stats you see there, the TDs per game, are passing. The second stat that you see down there, the 6 and the 5, those stats are going to be on the ground, running the ball. So again, really close in a lot of areas. The only real area that QB1 has a huge advantage in is going to be completion percentage in those interceptions per game. The yards on the ground are pretty close. The touchdowns on the ground are pretty close. The touchdowns through the air are close. The yards per game are spot on. So these two quarterbacks, to me, seem to be like guys that are going to be right there next to each other, right? Very, very close. So with that being said, who are these two quarterbacks? I'm going to reveal these two quarterbacks and break down a little bit about supporting cast and things like that. So we're going to talk about quarterback 1 to begin with. Quarterback 1 is my boy, Dak Prescott. If you are a part of Headliner Nation, or you follow me on Twitter, or you are familiar with my writing at all, you know that I'm a huge Dak Prescott supporter. I think he's extremely undervalued. I think he's extremely overlooked. And I think he's a guy that in 2019 we need to stop that. He's been very, very good, and he's put up QB1 numbers each of the last 3 seasons. That's right. He's been a quarterback 1 every season for the last 3 years. Now, last season, it did take week 17 for him to slip in there. I always count week 17, number 1, because those stats always add up. So at the end of the year, when you're talking about stats, you're just not going to throw week 17 out. Number 2, there are a lot of leagues that still play in week 17. So I'm not just going to discredit a week. I know some people out there do, some owners do, some analysts do. I do not, okay? So he's been a QB1 each of the last 3 seasons. He's been really good. He's always had a really good price tag on draft day. He's got a great supporting cast. He's got one of the better offensive lines in all of football. He's got one of the better running backs in all of football with Ezekiel Elliott. And he's got some wide receivers that are very, very good. Amari Cooper, obviously with that trade last year, it made everybody around him better. It made Cooper better. It made Prescott better. It made Zeke better. It made that team better. So to watch this offense function in 2019, it's going to be a lot of fun to watch. And I don't think we should discredit Jason Witten coming back either. Now, do I think Jason Witten's going to be a huge fantasy asset to fantasy owners? I don't even see him finishing as a tight end 1. However, his leadership and his knowledge of the offense will be greatly appreciated by that team. Trust me, that is something that we should keep in mind when we're talking about all of this. So while I don't think he's a huge fantasy asset, he's going to be back this year. He's going to be playing, and he brings a lot of knowledge and a lot of leadership to that offense. Also, don't forget Michael Gallup heading into year 2. I don't mind Michael Gallup. I think he could end up having a decent year, especially if a team is, opposing defenses are focused on Ezekiel Elliott and focused on Amari Cooper. Gallup could have some nice games. He's got a lot of upside for me this year. He might not be consistent, but I think he's got some boom and bust potential. And I don't think we should forget that Randall Cobb is also in Dallas now as well. So Randall Cobb, again, bringing some veteran presence, some veteran leadership to that team, although I'm not looking for a big season from him either. It's still someone you have to worry about on that offense. So with all things considered, let's talk about quarterback 2 now. And this is where we start comparing the two. And this is where the name might catch you off guard. Quarterback 2 is Cam Newton. Cam Newton, year after year after year, is one of the most highly regarded and highly sought after quarterbacks in drafts. Even if you don't really want Cam Newton on your team, there is always a league with an owner that says, man, I need me some Cam Newton. That guy does it on the ground. He does it through the air. He does everything. But as we see there, he's done it nearly as good, or not nearly as good, as Dak Prescott the last 3 years. They've been very close. Again, this isn't trying to say that Dak Prescott is above and beyond Cam Newton. But again, the reason for a video like this, a blind comparison, is to show you that when you break down statistics that could be fundamentally needed for you to win a fantasy league or needed for you to find value in a draft, this is where you find some of those things. This is where you start to say, hey, you know what? Cam Newton and Dak Prescott, they've basically been the same guy for the last 3 years. Dak Prescott's been on the field all 16 games every single year. Cam Newton has missed time. Cam Newton is injured. Now, I don't want to say injured. He's having injury issues right now. Everyone is saying he should be ready for the season, but what if he isn't? I think he will be, though. I'm not that worried about it. So let's talk about Dak Prescott. Well, before we do that, before we reveal ADPs, Cam Newton, he's got a decent supporting cast as well. Now, is his offensive line is good? No, give me Dallas's offensive line. Running back wise, that's a wash for me. I like Christian McCaffrey. I like Ezekiel Elliott. I like them both. They're both very talented, very good running backs. That's a wash for me. They're very, very close. Wide receivers, though, give me Amari Cooper every single day. And I know in Carolina we've got DJ Moore and we've got Curtis Samuel. I like DJ Moore. I like Curtis Samuel. But I'll take Amari Cooper and I will take Michael Gallup over DJ Moore and Curtis Samuel every single day. I will. That offense is going to be good. However, with Cam, with the injuries, with everything like that, are they going to continue to lean on Christian McCaffrey more and more often? Are they going to look at Cam Newton and say, we're not going to run you nearly as often? Dak Prescott is a guy I will 100% take over Cam Newton in 2019. I'm not sniffing Cam Newton that doesn't sound right. I'm not coming near Cam Newton in a draft whatsoever in 2019. It's not happening. But one of the reasons why are these ADPs. Dak Prescott's ADP right now, 142 overall in half PPR leagues. That makes him the quarterback 21 off of the board. Okay? Where are you taking Cam Newton if you want to get him? Well, you're taking him at 94.8. He's quarterback 10. Right now in half PPR leagues, Cam Newton is the 10th overall quarterback coming off the board. Again, I'm not sitting here and I'm not going to try and tell you that Cam Newton is a worse quarterback than Dak Prescott. I'm not going to tell you that Dak Prescott is a better quarterback than Cam Newton. I am going to tell you in terms of fantasy, in terms of drafting value, in terms of finding those gems later in the draft so you can spend a pick at 94.8 over at 94.8 over Cam Newton, absolutely 100% do that. Let's take a look here real quick at 94.8. Again, in half PPR leagues, ADP. Again, all of our ADP is taken from fantasyfootballcalculator.com, one of our partners. Make sure you check out their website. But again, scrolling down to 94.8, where Cam Newton is going. Other guys that you can get in that area after him, you can get Geronimo Allison, who's going to be basically the wide receiver 2, if he's healthy, in Green Bay this year. That's somebody that you could get. Larry Fitzgerald is also going. He's going at 99.2. That's somebody that you could get there. You could spend a pick on one of those guys and then wait on quarterback. I mean, you could draft Jared Goff after Cam Newton right now if you wanted to. Other guys as well, a Golden Tate, a guy that could be like a wide receiver 3 for you. Austin Eckler, if you're a Melvin Gordon owner, you can grab Austin Eckler there as well if you wanted to. Cortland Sutton, who could be ready for a breakout year with Joe Flacco there. James Washington, who might be the wide receiver 2 in Pittsburgh this year. He is coming afterwards. Ronald Jones, if you like Ronald Jones. I know we don't love Ronald Jones here. I know Jake really doesn't like Ronald Jones. But Ronald Jones, if you're looking for a guy with a late round pick where you say, hey, if he breaks out, awesome, I've got a steal here, you could go Ronald Jones instead of Cam Newton. Those are guys that are going in and around the area that Cam Newton is going on. You could spin those picks. And this all goes back to my late round quarterback strategy. And I'm not going to talk about it too much because I might be doing an actual video on late round QB strategy. But this all goes back to being able to find that value later in drafts. And I 100% think that Dak Prescott could be one of those guys this year. And he is definitely that guy over Cam Newton. You could take him later, get similar stats, similar fantasy points. Even if Dak Prescott finishes a little bit behind Cam Newton plays all 16 games, these two could end up having very, very similar stat lines. And even if Dak Prescott scores just a little bit less, even if it's 20 points less, you could still pick up that difference with one of these better picks. And a guy like Geronimo Allison, if he hits this year, and he's an actual wide receiver too, if Ronald Jones hits this year, and he's a running back that can handle an entire workload, you have made a much better choice to make up that 20-point difference. So, again, this is our blind resume, our blind comparison of Dak Prescott and Cam Newton. More of these videos are going to be coming. A lot of great content here on the channel. Don't forget, though, hit that like button, hit that share button, hit that subscribe button. We appreciate all the support from Headliner Nation. We appreciate you sharing the content. We appreciate you watching the content. Make sure you check out that draft guide and you get that as soon as possible. It's going to be releasing here in a few weeks. We're really excited about it. And as always, we're one of the most interactive channels here on YouTube. So if you comment in the comment section below, that didn't sound right. If you comment below, we're going to make sure that we respond to you. Continue this dialogue. Let us know who you're going to pick. In the comments, though, just say quarterback 1 or quarterback 2. I don't want to throw out a whole lot of Cam Newton's, Dak Prescott's, because I don't want a whole lot of people to see it and then not watch the video. So do that favor for me. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in, and I will catch you on the next episode of the Fantasy Headliners. Thanks, everyone. Have a good day.